Hi everyone, welcome to Tiny Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we are looking at yes/no answers to whatever question you have to ask. So ask the question, I will then give you the answer and support the answer with a detailed reading. Now, before we get started, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got 5 different cards to choose from, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card that comes through strongly for you today. And remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. We've got card 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, listening to your inner voice, your intuition, and the energy of the cards. Which of these cards resonates with you the clearest? Is it card 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Down below, there are 5 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I will see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading and we're looking at yes/no answers to whatever question you have to ask today. So let's jump in, have a look and see what's going on here. Now, I've definitely got a no with this question. Can I start here with the Tower and Dominion, number 2, 2 of Wands. I feel like something's been blocked here. Some kind of vision, some pathway that you have that you've been pushing very hard to unfold. That seems like it's no longer possible. It's like the rug has been sort of pulled out from underneath your feet, and it's very difficult to get to grips with what's going on in a way that unfolds what you want. I feel like there's a lot going on around you here. A lot of turmoil, a lot of turbulence, definitely. Things are coming undone in a way where it just doesn't seem to ease up in a way where you can see the wood for the trees, really. A lot of pressure here in this situation and a lot of feelings going on as well. I feel like every time you try to push forward on this particular issue, this idea, everything is blocked. Literally and figuratively. It doesn't matter which way you turn. Doesn't matter what you try to throw at it to resolve the situation. Something seems to come up that kind of pushes back on you in a way that stops you from getting to where you want to be. And that creates a lot of feeling within yourself that makes a lot of pressure that's piling up, and it's continuous. I feel very walled in by this situation. I feel like I can only see problems, you know. 2 of Wands is definitely a card of vision unfolding into an idea of what you see on the horizon. The Tower is a card of destruction, of decay in some ways. I feel like something has happened fundamentally to the vision that you actually have, that kind of leaves the integrity of this at question. I feel like here you can only see problems in a way that is very difficult to kind of get beyond the immediacy of a situation that is becoming very overheated and intense. There's a lot of energy here in these 2 cards that are kind of pushing you to kind of look at the situation in a way perhaps that you're not ready to. I feel here that you're out of your power. Maybe you're even looking to blame somebody else. Maybe looking to blame yourself. Definitely blaming the situation for not being what it is that you really want it to be. It feels like everything's going against you, and it's kind of a little bit desperate. I think you're desperate to get things back on track in a way that gives you your power and reinstall the vision of what you wanted to unfold. I think it's a very sort of borderline situation where you could easily become a victim in this situation. I don't feel that that's where you're at. I don't feel that's the kind of person that you are. But I do feel stuck here. I feel like I'm stuck. I can't see a way out of this situation. I can't see the wood for the trees. It feels like I'm being undermined. And I think probably fundamentally here, both the Tower and Dominion, the Two of Wands, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do next. You know, when I think that I do, and I try to kind of resolve the situation by applying whatever it is that I think, it feels like it gets worse. Lots of problems here. Questions around the integrity of the situation, the vision of what you want here. Feeling like you're being blocked. It feels like everything's going against you. Here with the Sun and the Five of Swords, defeat. You know, it's continuing on in a way where I don't feel like you're giving up, though. You know, the Sun, you know, it implies that you're actually, you know, a glass half full type of person. Your attitude is really constructive, very positive. And it's almost like this is a quest for you in a way where I think you're quite convinced that this actually could be a really amazing situation. Happiness, your vision, your light, your determination, your positivity, you know, like are keeping this going. I feel you haven't given up on it. I think that you think that that this can make you really happy in a way that kind of spurs you along, you know, like it keeps you on the right side of the experience. It stops you from giving up. But it doesn't matter, because here with the Five of Swords, you know, the resistance continues. I don't feel like things are necessarily any easier. I feel there's still a lot of negative experiences that are kind of still piling up in front of you in a way that are really beckoning you to kind of look at them and to take them seriously. But, you know, your determination to kind of push through here in a way that gets you to where it is you want to be is prevailing. I feel, however, though, that the experience is becoming more and more painful for you in a way where it's quite contrary to your desire. You know, this is not how you wanted it to be. There's a lot of negativity that is continuing on, and I think that you're trying to kind of keep things positive. You're trying to keep your experience robust. And I think enlightened in many ways. You know, perhaps here with the Sun, you know, perhaps there's a degree of naiveness. Spit that word out. Either way, your continued hope and persistence is keeping this going in a way where you're thinking, I want to overcome the adversity. I'm going to persist on with my efforts. The situation doesn't strengthen, though. I think you're strengthened by the determination to get through this. I think also here with the Sun, it's almost like on a surface level, everything kind of looks okay. Maybe things look better, but then if you get down into the heart of matters here with defeat, it's like there's a heavy heart here. And actually, the reality at a core level is actually quite the opposite. So it's a difficult situation because you're refusing to accept defeat. You're keeping a positive face. A glass half full attitude is kind of making this work to the best that it possibly can. If we come down here to Lovers and the Ace of Swords, I kind of feel like this is an outcome, but I also feel like it's really good advice in terms of where the outcome is going for the present. I feel here with the Ace of Swords, it's like making a decision that you can't go on like this anymore. The Lovers is a card of decisions. You know, I feel like here, you know, you're creating clear boundaries for yourself and saying this is crazy. I can't do this anymore. It's just me. Like it's nobody else. I'm the one that's giving this everything. I'm not getting what I want out of this situation, so I need to make a decision. And I feel like here with the Ace of Swords, it's a new beginning. I feel like, you know, the swords are definitely about conflict. You can see that here with defeat and with the Ace of Swords. You know, I think, you know, in your mind, things are starting to pile up in a way where it's becoming a rational choice for you. Your heart is not necessarily in it down here anymore. You know, like you've actually gotten to a point where you've actually had to kind of almost like wake up to the reality of what's going on. You know, like it's a tough card, the Ace of Swords. You know, it goes straight to the bone. You know, like it's a concise card. It doesn't mess about. I think the evidence in a very rational way has piled up in a way that forces you to make a decision, because the conflicts, it's reached a limit. You know, it's an unsustainable position in terms of this situation for the long term. I think that you'll completely cut away here. Like it's an ending linked to a new beginning in a way where there's no more time to waste. Very clinical, having to be ruthless in this situation. I question what this could be. It could be a creative idea, like a creative concept, some sort of creative endeavor that you have. It could be a job. It could also be a relationship easily. I feel like what you're saying down here is that I've made a decision to move on and I'm not going to look back. It's not serving my purpose anymore, and I need to look after my own interest. I need to look after myself in a way where I actually get my head together and get focused about what the next step is. I feel that what you're going to do as a consequence of this situation is that you will actually create a new beginning, a new vision that is born out of inspiration to cut away all of this baggage. It's like the situation gets heavier and heavier and heavier. It begins to cause you an enormous amount of pain. It's contrary to what you were hoping to unfold in terms of where you thought this was all going to go. You're getting dragged down into this in a way where it's taking more than it's giving. And I think it comes to a point here where you've kind of lost your power, but you need to regain it by actually making a decision to do what's right for yourself. So I feel like you're stepping back into your power here in a way where you're taking no prisoners. But through that process, there is this kind of inspiration to do something new. Something is born out of this situation in a way where all of a sudden you're not being dragged down anymore. You don't have the preoccupation to keep this going. And it kind of leaves you in a position where everything kind of comes together in terms of a complete new focus for you. And it's like all of a sudden you have all of the answers. It's like, okay, this actually seems much more simple than I thought it might be if I was going to be in this situation. Maybe you thought you had too much to lose before, but now that you're in this position where you've actually given everything up, it's like, actually, because I've got nothing to lose, I've got everything to gain by moving forward. And now I can see clearly what it is I'm supposed to do. So I feel like you'll cut others out of the picture. You'll cut the situation out of the picture. You'll refine your focus in a way where you become very sharp, concise. And I think your understanding of yourself through this process will allow you to feel uninhibited by anything or anybody. A crystal clear decision-making process is going to be the result of what's going on here in a way that it arrives you at a new point where you have total belief in what the next steps are supposed to be. So there's no second guessing down here in any way whatsoever. It goes from being actually a very painful, thwarted, labored, and overly challenging situation and process into something that becomes painless, concise, and ready for the next steps. And I feel that through this process of what you're going through, that you will arrive at a point where you will inevitably get what you want. Yeah, if that makes sense to you. So it's definitely a no for me, but I think that the journey is very important here to arrive you at a point where you make the decision to move on. I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading, and we're looking at yes/no answers to whatever question you're asking today. So, in this situation, I have a no. It's a clear no. I'll start up here with the Hangman and Strife, 5 of Wands. I feel like you're stuck in some kind of a situation here with these two cards that is a source of aggravation. I feel like it's a constant challenge for you in a way where you're kind of butt up against something. I feel cornered. I feel very sort of limited by this situation in a way that doesn't allow me to move forward in a way that is safe and secure. Here with the 5 of Wands, Strife, definitely a card of challenge. It can often be people challenging you. It could be just a situation, a set of circumstances that feel overly challenging in themselves. I feel here with the hangman, pulled back. There's definite limitations here in a way where I feel that you have your hands tied behind your back. You're unable to engage with the situation constructively in a way that puts you into your power. I feel very vulnerable here. Definitely looking at creative solutions in the sense that I think you're looking at everything from different angles, trying to understand how you can move things forward, how you can get out of this situation where you feel compromised. But on the other hand, there's these multiple different pressure points that are coming in at you from all different angles, making this really, really challenging for you. It's not even a case of one step forward or two steps back. It's kind of going in reverse. I feel like you're cornered, that you can't get out of this situation. I feel like boundaries are being pushed. I feel like you've drawn a line and said no here with a hangman, definitely. I feel like you are saying this is as far as it is that I can go. And I don't want to be pushed any further, because this is a card where you would actually have to make a sacrifice in order to do that. Maybe for this situation to move forward, you would have to give a lot up. I don't even know if that's an option here. I don't feel here with strife that that's actually going to satisfy the situation in a way that actually rebalances things. I feel open to attack here. I feel that this situation is persistent. It's pushing against you. It's pushing your boundaries. I feel, again, coming back to this idea of making some kind of a sacrifice, I think the only reason why you would do that is to put yourself back into your power, to feel safe and to feel secure, and to move ahead in some way, so it gives you some maneuverability, some flexibility, some give, some wiggle room. I think maybe though you're only buying time if you do that. But I think ultimately it's to get everything off of your back. There's this constant pressure. I don't feel that you want to give up your situation. I don't feel like you want to give anything to this in a way that surrenders. At the same time, you are stuck. I feel like you are stuck here in a way that it lays you bare. Like you can't hide from anything. There's a lot of energy pushing up against you in a way where it feels quite overwhelming, definitely. Coming over here to the Hierophant and Sorrow, the Three of Swords. I think as a development of this situation, I kind of feel like this here with the Hierophant, it's definitely a card that formalizes like a situation to something that's more about rules. It's a concept of structure and support that acknowledges rules have been broken, or at least that there is pain from this situation. I feel like this is an ongoing situation that compounds into grief here with the sorrow. It's like and here, there's a lot of wisdom in the Hierophant. I think you've wised up to the situation in a way where you can see what's going on more rationally. The swords are definitely about your intellectual process. I feel over here with the Hangman and strife, this is much more of a creative concept, looking to find solutions to get a creative outcome perhaps, or to create some kind of a solution. Whereas over here with the Hierophant and sorrow, this is more a rational formula to acknowledge a situation that has been unfair in terms of its treatment or its practice upon you. It's the acknowledgement that you've been treated unfairly, unjustly, that you've been unfairly affected by this in a way that perhaps needs to be acknowledged more formally. Often the Hierophant can be something that's not necessarily judicial, but it again, it's formal. It's formal counsel. It's a formal arena to be able to air grievances in a way that has some kind of support mechanism. I kind of just felt that this situation needed to be addressed in your mind in a way where you're kind of outlining, you're having your side of the story heard. You're having the whole situation looked at and scrutinized in a way that is unbiased and objective and gives you some kind of bolstered support to be able to get a better outcome. I feel like, you know, like it's almost like a code of ethics has been breached here, or the rules have been broken in such a way where there needs to be some sort of redress. Acknowledgement needs to take place in a way that kind of, this is also about reflective process of trying to weed out what and how and why this has happened. And a lot of the efforts here in these two cards for me are about actually regaining your power. So, you know, it's about determining the situation in a way where it confronts the wrongs, where there's some kind of retribution, perhaps, where there's a resolution. And, you know, this is about a process that actually bears all. You know, it shows all, it tells all. It gets it all out in the open. It allows you to kind of air your grievances here with the Three of Swords. You know, you have a hearing of some sort here, some kind of counsel that but at the same time, you know, this is a painful process because it leaves you still to feel vulnerable at the hands of other people who make that judgment. It's not necessarily about you being self-determining. This is once again, I kind of feel like you're going from a situation where there are numerous aggravating factors that maybe involves other people or a situation that you can't control, where you've lost your power, into another situation here to kind of address that in a way where, once again, you're not in your power. You know, you're kind of leaving yourself in a vulnerable situation where it's up to other people to determine what's going on. You know, like and by this point here with sorrow, you know, like it feels really impersonal here with a Hierophant. There is no emotional support. There is no heartfelt acknowledgement. There's no one holding your hand. There's no one there with empathy. It feels quite cold here with sorrow. It just feels like things are, you know, compounding, leaving you to feel that you're at the heart of a situation that actually is really painful for you. Down here with the Priestess and Ruin, the Ten of Swords, I definitely feel this is an outcome, in as much as you know, the Priestess is a card of uncertainty, but it's also a card of the future. I mean, Ruin is a card of betrayal, of feeling let down. I kind of feel like you have no future here in this situation in a way that gives you a sense of resolution. There's like a lack of support, a lack of resolution. Feeling let down by the situation or the system here with the Hierophant, because the Hierophant is very much reflective of a systematic approach, or, you know, like a system within itself, an institution of sorts. I feel like you're here at this point looking into the future in a way that just sees nothing but like a sense of being let down, a worst case scenario that's realized that leaves you to feel that everything is left unfinished, unclosed. What I don't like about these two cards is that there is no security in place. There's a total lack of boundaries here with the High Priestess. Things are very murky. They're left in a way that does not support you, does not bolster you, and which leaves you open to more disappointment. It's a feeling of being vulnerable yet again. Like all of these cards here consecutively build on the idea of uncertainty, of vulnerability. I feel that the outcome here leaves you in a position that you feel vulnerable, that this could happen all again. That you're back in the same position again, that you're no better for all of your efforts, in a way that you haven't realized any power from this. Yeah, you haven't been put into a situation where you regain anything. It's a feeling of losing everything, and it's a feeling like that it could all happen again. You know, like it's almost as though this entire process has undermined you in a way from beginning to end, from the beginning to the end. It's been very, I think being very uncomfortable to begin with, but it slowly builds into a very painful situation that works into this idea that the pain could be taken into the future. Now, that could be the pain of this entire process, where you feel grieved into the future, that every time you reflect on it, it kind of just dredges up all of this difficult, hard to understand feeling. What I do like about these two cards is that you know where you stand. I mean, like it's not all for nothing. You know that you're not going to get a better outcome, and you know where you are at this point in time, and you can actually build on that situation in a way where you can begin to make yourself feel more secure. I have to say to you, for me, this is a no from beginning to end. I feel like you need to avoid the drama of this situation in a way where you pull away. It's just not worth the struggle. I feel that there's a lot of pain involved in this. I don't feel like you have power in this. I don't feel like you'll get to where you want to be in terms of realizing any potential in this. Avoid it. Yeah, it's a definite no for me. Listen, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading, and we're looking at yes/no answers to whatever question you're asking today. With this one, I definitely get a yes. It's a really clear yes. I'm going to start up here with the Moon and the Ace of Discs. I feel like there's been a lot of worry about some kind of opportunity that you think may never happen. It's almost like a case of wanting something so bad that it scares you. Here with the Moon, there's an enormous amount of uneasiness, a lot of unrest, a lot of anxiety and difficulty coming to terms with feelings that indicate to you deep down and maybe instinctively that something's not quite right, that something will happen here with the Ace of Discs, which is a card of opportunity about manifestation and bringing some kind of a focus into the world in a way that gives you an enormously deep fulfillment. I feel here with these two cards is as though you believe that that it can never happen, that in some way you're unable to bring it into manifestation. I think here with these two cards you can definitely see it, because the Ace of Discs is a card of manifestation. It is here in some way, shape or form. Maybe you see others might have it, but you don't. Or maybe you see it passing you by, but it's not something that you can actually grab hold on to and keep for yourself. It's as though it's there, but it's elusive. Here with the Moon, there's the dark side of the Moon. We don't really know what's on the other side. There's a sense of darkness, of not being able to kind of shed light onto the situation in a way that brings it fully out into the open. I think it's an idea of happiness and good fortune that could go wrong almost, you know. Also, you know, maybe what if I get this? What if I actually get what it is that I really want and it all goes wrong? There's that kind of feeling in this as well. I think it's definitely an opportunity for you that centers on everything that you could possibly want. And in some ways, I kind of feel almost like you believe that it's too good to be true. I get a lot of depression around this here with the Moon, a lot of ill feeling, a lot of discomfort at a very unconscious level that makes you feel really uneasy about what this is. A lot of worry, a lot of anxiety attached to the potential of this. Also, the Moon is a card of dreaming, of the unconscious mind. I kind of feel like in your sleeping time, you know, like this is actually surfacing in a way where you're dreaming about it, or that you're waking up and you have this kind of fresh imprint from the night before of feeling like maybe you had it, but you couldn't keep it, or maybe there's nightmares around this particular idea. I feel, again, like you can see it and you can taste it, and unconsciously it's totally real, but in the manifest world of the daytime, of the conscious mind, it feels elusive once again. I think deep down you know that this is possible, but you don't really trust your feelings on this. I would have said also there's a lot of daydreaming about this, a lot of fantasizing about it. Like, I kind of feel like it's definitely on your mind all the time. I think it's really at the center of your focus in a way where it's almost like an alternate experience. You know, you're kind of living this kind of double life that's very internal and to do with your kind of unconscious and instinctual engagement with something that you really want, but which you don't really know how to get. I'm going to come over here to the Hermit and Love here with the Two of Cups, and I felt these two cards are actually really beautiful cards. I feel like it's this sense of waiting alongside somebody else forever. You know, like the Hermit is a long period of time. It's deeply introspective. It's a definite journey of epic proportions, of bringing some kind of enlightenment to a situation. Here with Love, it's a card of duality in as much as I kind of feel here, this is about a relationship with somebody who you really love. Two people coming together in a way that is almost like a soulmate engagement. You know, I feel here there is somebody else that you have been journeying with here. This is two souls on an inward journey. I feel there's a really deep bond between the two of you. I feel like you know each other really well. I feel like you get each other, you see each other, you have an enormous amount of patience for each other. I feel like there is a lot of love. I don't feel like this is a clingy relationship. I feel like this is a relationship that is very respectful. I feel like you're friends first in some ways. I feel like the parameters of the relationship are not traditional ones. I don't feel that this is a relationship that centers on the idea of purely romance. For me, this feels very spiritual. It feels very, what do I want to say? It kind of feels like you've been together forever. You know, it feels like you've been together for a really long time. There's a lot of deep and personal intimacy for each one of you in this relationship, both independently but also as a couple. I kind of felt like you've dived into this experience with this person over a long period of time, and it's been very mutual. There's a lot of reflection going on in this relationship in a way where I think you're both searching for something, not just with each other, but also independently. I felt for you here, this is kind of waiting for that thing that reflects back into the past. The Hermit's looking back into the past. It's reflecting back to this idea of wanting something more, perhaps something to add into this equation in a way that makes it feel complete. Excuse me. I feel like you're looking for that deeper potential still here in these two cards in a way where you're reflecting on the past, looking for answers, looking for ways to make it happen still. I think here it's kind of bringing up the worry again into this situation in a way where you're worrying that, you know, maybe you'll never realize this opportunity that we've already talked about here, that you may never get all that you want. And perhaps that this might undermine what you have with this other person in some way. Coming down here to the Hierophant and the Ace of Cups. I felt here this was an outcome and serves as really strong advice to underpin this situation in a way that helps you to get what it is that you want. I felt here with the Ace of Cups, there is a manifestation, a new beginning of opportunity. And this is going to contract or bring together a situation here with the Hierophant in a way that allows you to realize this full new potential. I sent here with the Ace of Cups, this is a card of birth. It can be about children and pregnancy, new life. I wondered what that was. Here with the Hierophant, it's definitely a card of commitment. It can be a very traditional card in as much as it could be about marriage. I wondered whether this was a reading about a relationship where you're waiting to get married or to be engaged or for somebody to propose to you. The other thing I felt that this could also be about the idea of getting pregnant, here with the Ace of Cups. Definitely a card of birth. I felt there was a birth of a new creation here between the two of you in a way that gave you something new. I felt like it brought life to the forward in a way that was incredibly fulfilling, very deeply fulfilling here with the Ace of Cups. I feel like this commits the both of you to this new beginning, to this new life in a way that everything feels right for me. There's no second guessing. There's no doubt. There's no more longing for something more. There's no reflection into the past here with the Moon and the Ace of Cups. Into wanting something that you don't have. The kind of self-reflective inward journey between the two of you comes to a new kind of like a new threshold here with the Hierophant. I kind of feel like you're crossing over into this new life together. You're committing to something really big here with each other in a way that installs balance and harmony and joy, and fulfillment. You're like, it just feels like you've kind of arrived at this place that you really want to be at, with this idea of kind of bringing something manifest into the world. I felt this was a very fertile period of time in terms of this new beginning. The Ace of Cups brings in fertility and commitment here with the Hierophant in a way where I feel like everything comes to a very powerful new understanding as well. I mean, the Hierophant is a card of learning. You know, there's a deep and committed learning in this relationship, in this new beginning, with this potential to initiate. It's almost like a new paradigm, a new way of seeing things, a new way of living that brings joy and love and devotion into a way of life. For me, it's a definite yes here. I really do feel here that this is the possibility of a pregnancy, a birth, or the birth of a new life, or definitely about commitment and marriage and tying the knot. I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading, and we're looking at yes, no answers to whatever questions you're asking today. And for this one, I definitely get a yes. Now, I'm going to start up here with the art, which is Temperance and the Knight of Wands. I feel here that you're definitely trying to temper some kind of restlessness within yourself. I got a lot of fiery activity here in a way that leaves you to feel that you want to move things forward, upwards, onwards. It's about cracking things into shape and getting lift off in some way. Definitely feeling here with the Knight of Wands. It's about adventure and even possible travel. It's about taking off somewhere or something that needs to take off. It's adventurous, it's spirited, it feels fired up, ready to go. Here with art, these are both strong cards for travel, international travel, destinations that take you abroad or far-reaching places. That it's not about travel within, it's definitely about going somewhere. I kind of feel like there's a distance for you to kind of get out into and to discover in a way that gives you new horizons. There's an eagerness that combines in both of these cards. I do feel here on this timeline that there is some kind of healing journey. Something that it's not just about wanting to get away from it, but maybe coming to terms with something. Maybe the idea of getting out into the world, going off and doing something helps you to kind of come to terms with something that's been happening in your life. Coming back into balance, maybe discovering yourself in a way that adds in a lot of other flavors. Here with Temperance, with art, you know, like I just feel it's time to spice life up, that maybe things have gotten too predictable for you, that things have been too mundane. I feel like mixing it up and making it interesting is really important here. Escaping the rat race. It's as though at the moment I kind of feel like you're burning really, really brightly. You know, you seem to be a very talented, inspirational person who likes to keep things interesting. I think it'd be very difficult to stay confined, to work within limitations, work within a box. I kind of feel like you need to break out of something here. You know, like I just get a sense a new experience is on the horizon in a way where you kind of want to add in new flavors, mix things up. I felt work integrated into this opportunity in a way that perhaps you could take your skills and experiences with you. Maybe this is about traveling with work, or traveling away to find work, working overseas. I feel like all of these things come into the mix in a way that give you an enormous amount of flexibility in terms of where you can be, what you can do, how you can do it. You know, this could even go as far as to say, maybe for some of you, that this is about immigrating to another country, moving to the other side of the country, moving to a completely different place. Movement, relocation, or moving just feel very strong here with these two cards. I feel like things are on the move. I kind of feel like everything's very animated. That the opportunity has become mobilized in some way that allows you to start thinking that this is where it's going to be, this is where it's going to go, this is how it's going to happen. Yeah, it definitely feels fueled by passion, energy, creativity, and change. That's where the two cards here start for me with Knight of Wands and art or temperance. Over here, to Star and the Knight of Swords, I kind of feel with these two cards, uncertainty has definitely begun to set in a way where questions are arising within yourself. You know, am I being too hasty? Is this going to work? Am I putting myself into a vulnerable situation? Here with the Star, it's another healing card. Both Temperance and Star, they're both healing cards. Maybe there's been kind of some sort of a relapse. Maybe things have kind of gone backwards in a way where you're beginning to feel that you're not strong enough to do this, perhaps. The Knight of Swords is definitely a card of negativity to some degree. Maybe fighting within yourself. You know, it's about mobilizing the opportunity in a way that kind of thrashes out the specifics of what's going on. You know, maybe looking at how to actually put this idea into practice more, in a more detailed fashion, going over things, analyzing things in a way that says, this is how it's going to work. This is what it is that I need to do. Checks and balances so that I'm not put into a vulnerable situation. I kind of feel like the Knight of Swords is reflecting back into your timeline, maybe looking at reasons as to why you shouldn't do this. I kind of feel like there's opposing forces here. I feel like there's the force within yourself, maybe being negative in yourself about what is possible, maybe trying to talk yourself out of this, maybe convincing yourself that you haven't thought this through. And then the other side of it is kind of addressing that negativity in a way that tries to keep things on track, tries to keep things going forward in a way that has solutions so that you're not put into a vulnerable situation. I also felt that this could also be very external. I'm wondering whether there are people who have got wind of what you're looking to do, the changes that you're looking to make in your life. Maybe other people have a different idea as to what you should and shouldn't do. Maybe people don't want you to move on, don't want you to change. I kind of feel like you're being pushed back down by others in a way that doesn't fall in line with what their objectives are about. The Star is definitely a card of objectives. It's about hopes, it's about dreams. Other people have hopes and dreams for you that maybe they want to be a part of your life in a way where they don't want to see you move on. They don't want you to be put into a situation where you're put at risk. I feel like things are pushing you back, pushing you down, making you think intensively about. These two cards are very intense, I have to say. I kind of feel like, you know, there's a lot of thrashing out going here in a way that feels vulnerable. It feels defensive, but at the same time, it's also pushing back as much as it's pushing on you. I feel like you're pushing back to make your case. I don't feel like you're giving up here. I kind of feel like it's just sort of, you know, second guessing, working through things, looking for the confidence to be able to kind of find a convincing argument as to why you should move forward, why you should push on. But it does seem like everybody has something to say to you at this time, if anybody knows about what you're thinking here. And it's changeable. Again, it's wanting it, it's not wanting it. It's feeling like you can do it. It's feeling like maybe I can't do it. it's underpinned by arguments within yourself, arguments by other people, and they don't have to be like outright sort of, aggressive, abusive arguments. It could be just the argument for a case, having a point and kind of, thrashing through that in a way that makes it articulate, intelligent, and which supports you in terms of what you're trying to achieve. I feel like you're certainly wanting to put your ideas into action in a way where you move things forward overall. But this is more about developing the skills of how to do it. Down here with the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, I feel like for an outcome, this is a definite yes for me. I feel this is actually a very exciting idea. I feel like, you've gone through this phase of feeling vulnerable, of coming to terms with what it is that you're actually trying to achieve here. And down here with the Emperor and the Queen of Wands, I feel like you've rediscovered the passion that kind of kickstarted this whole thing in the first place, back up here with the Knight of Wands and art. Here with the Emperor, it's a driven, determined card, very fiery, very passionate. Queen of Swords, also very, very fiery and passionate within its own right. Queen of Swords and the Emperor are both confident and capable. They have an enormous amount of strength. I feel like you rediscover your drive and determination to do what you need to do here in a way that reignites the fire to realize this goal. I maybe also here with the Queen of Wands and the Emperor. The Emperor is a strong card for mentorship, and so too with the Queen of Wands in as much as it's an elevated suit card that for me, you could be looking at different people to gain strength, to gain advice, to gain support in order to kind of mobilize this idea into action. Perhaps you're looking to other people who have experience in what is it you're actually trying to achieve. Looking for positive reinforcement, looking for solutions, looking for examples that kind of give you something to look up to in order to kind of to move this forward. But these are cards of action. I really feel a very industrious, strong-willed confidence coming through here. I kind of feel like your capability is unfolding in a way that says, look, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this adventure. Queen of Wands is a really big card for adventure, wanting to go out into the world in a way where there's no restriction. And she doesn't want full responsibility, but she wants enough responsibility to be able to kind of continue to grow and flex and move forward into her development. I feel like you're taking steps here to realize your ambition. You're using an enormous amount of responsibility in both of these cards that really put your skills into action to realize what it is that you actually really want to do. And I feel very independent, very capable with these two cards. I feel like the outcome for me is one where you get a very creative exploration of putting yourself out into the world in a very free and independent way. I feel like you're understanding how to make this work. I really do feel that this has a lot to do with travel and work. I feel not only are you making it work, but I feel like you realize work in this situation in a way where I kind of just, for me, it's just about putting yourself out into the world in a way that allows you to kind of fit into new opportunities that fit in line, not only with your ambition to be adventurous and creative and independent, but also at the same time to tie in your career, your work. They're interchangeable. I kind of feel like working and travel need to be integrated into a concept or a way of living here. So this could be, again, traveling to another country or going away for a year and backpacking and doing work every so often, or getting a job in another country and settling down somewhere and actually taking on a completely different, new and interesting way of life. I feel that this combination of adventure and work is really at the forefront for you here in a way that will unfold quite naturally. And I also have to say, coming back to the star and art, which is temperance, I really do feel that this is a part of a healing journey, some kind of recognition within yourself that you need to kind of put yourself out into the world in a way that maybe discovers a part of who it is that you are, but also which comes to terms with something that's happened to you in the past. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 5. This is your reading and we're looking at yes, no answers to whatever question you're asking today. And here I'd get a yes. I'm going to start up here with death and love, the Two of Cups. I felt like this was a good place to start. I get a sense there's been some kind of ending of an important relationship. It could be a friend, a family member, somebody you know and who is very close to you. It could be a lover. It also could be a thing, you know, it could be an animal or just something that's really close to your heart. I felt like you'd lost something here with death. I felt loss. And here with the Two of Cups, I just felt whatever this is, that this is something that you were very much in love with, that you shared an incredibly strong bond with. I feel this is an important person or thing that the loss of this has been very confronting for you in a way that it's just very difficult to accept what's happened in a way where they just had to move on one way or the other. But it's like you didn't have a choice. And I don't feel that you or this other person or this thing wanted to part. I felt like you wanted to hang on. There's so much love here. You can see that with the Two of Cups. I just feel that this is a very strong bond, that this is an experience with somebody or something that has just been so intricately woven into your world, and losing this has been so difficult because now you have to untangle yourself from them, from it, from what's happened. I think this has been very slow for me. I kind of feel like this has been a very slow and exhausting process of losing this person or this thing. I keep on saying person or thing, but it kind of feels like it could be either of those things to me. I feel like this has taken a long time to happen. It's not been quick. It feels like it's slow and drawn out, and I think there's been a long period of resisting this as well. You know, like there's been a lot of resistance to letting go on both sides. I feel that this has been very difficult now because it's like, how do you see a world without this in your life? And so in many ways, in this process here with death, I kind of feel it's just been such an incredibly confronting experience because you've had to face things about this experience that have been really difficult to accept. And at the same time, there's a lot of beauty in these two cards because, you know, what's born out of this experience here with love is the understanding of how much you love this, you know, how much you love this person, how much you love this thing. You know, like it really it's intensified the experience. It's been so resonant and so shared. And I kind of feel like it's really brought you into a new understanding of what that means. And I feel maybe if this hadn't have happened like this, then you would never have really understood just how deep this went into your world. I feel here that you're still hanging on and not wanting to lose them fully, even though maybe they've gone. Again, it feels like a long drawn out period of time. I don't feel like this is a black and white situation. I feel like it's a process. It's like, you know, like an ending linked to a new beginning here with death. I don't feel like anybody or anything wanted it like this. There's a lot of love and respect here. A strong bond that's been forged over a long period of time. I feel like you've been through a lot of challenging experiences here with this person in this situation. I feel like it stood the test of time, you know. Been through many challenges. Yeah, it feels to me that something has forced you apart in a way that's been beyond your control, really. And I think that that's actually been a very challenging experience to sort of see the other person or this thing in a way. When I say thing, I mean I keep on saying thing. You know, what do I mean by thing? Because I feel like it could be an animal or some kind of just something that's close to you, and I can't quite get a grasp of what that is. I want it to be broad. I want it to apply generally because I just think that this is about loss, and I just feel just again a lot of love and respect here in a way where this is very sad because I don't think this is what anybody wanted. If I come over here to the Tower and disappointment, the Five of Cups, I feel like this is like an evolution of the process in many ways. You know, this has unearthed you, and you know, because I feel like you've been devastated by the departure of this person, of this thing. Since it's happened, everything's been completely destabilized here with the Tower. You know, like everything is upside down. You can't tell which way is up, and here with the grief of disappointment, you know, like it's like you're just having to deal with so much. Like it feels like you're really off the tracks in some ways, you know, like you lost it's almost like if you lost yourself through this process. And I feel like everywhere you look, you see this person or you see this thing in a way that just kind of reminds you, you know, like you just can't not see it. It's like all minutes of the day seem to be consumed by loss. And I think here the world feels like a really cruel place, you know, like it feels like you're seeing the world through this destabilization, through this turmoil, with this intensely, you know, difficult emotional imbalance, really, you know, of just feeling so weighted in your grief, in your disappointment. It's almost as like on a day-to-day basis, you're unable to integrate into kind of like a normal kind of routine, you know. And the pressure of emotions are constantly bubbling to the surface in a way where you erupt with feeling, and it becomes quite uncontrollable at times here with the Tower, just kind of forcing up this emotional outpour of so many different feelings. And it's like there's just so much to try and come to terms with, and I think it becomes really overwhelming. I feel like it's inconsolable. I feel like you are inconsolable, and maybe for some of you, you're hiding away, not wanting to deal with this aftermath, you know, of the loss. And the loss could be the death of somebody, but it could be the loss of a thing, you know, like maybe somebody had to go, or something had to be let go of. Everything feels like it's on shaky ground. I feel like at moments, and it's kind of moments where you're just kind of lashing out within yourself, maybe internally. Maybe it's situations externally. And I feel like you don't want to go back to normal. It's like, oh, you know, like you've been so shaken to the core. It's how can you go back to normal? I think maybe that's the other thing that comes up through this process is, you know, like all of a sudden everything looks surreal because nothing is like it was before. Watching other people getting along with their day-to-day lives. Everything else and everybody else seems so small. So insignificant in comparison to what is it you've been going through, which just seems to be so dominant. And I feel there's no comfort here, and there's no security in a way that gives you a sense of hope. I feel like you're definitely clearing out here with the Tower and disappointment. You know, it's all coming to the surface. It's all coming up in a way where, you know, all of this frustrated feeling, emotion, experience is just kind of like, you know, erupting to the top, and then it's back into internalization and gestating, and then, you know, it's like a volcano coming back up again. And I felt like when it does erupt, it's kind of ferocious, you know, like it just spills out. Yeah, again, very, very difficult to integrate into a world that can't see what's going on for you. You know, like so this is very isolated. This is very isolated. I feel alone here, very lonely. This is very lonely. The loss and being alone with the aftermath, and really trying to sort of figure out where things are going. And I come down here to lust and the Queen of Swords, and I say yes, because I feel like my answer to that question is yes, you will rebalance, yes, you will heal, yes, you will move on. You know, lust is a card of healing. It's beginning to take place here in the outcome. You know, I feel like there's more to go, but where you will arrive is a place where you are rebalanced. I feel calmness here with lust. Coming, and here with the Queen of Swords, you know, like that's a really painful card. You know, like the Queen of Swords is looking out into the world in isolation, because nobody really understands her pain. You know, like she's left brokenhearted and grieved, but at the same time she's assimilating that into an experience of healing, and you know, she's cerebral. You know, she's in her mind and she's thinking about things in a way where she's coming to terms with the loss. And so I kind of feel like you're learning through this challenge and assimilating pain and sorrow in a way that consolidates you as a person. I think maybe here at the outcome is one where you want to be alone in this experience. I'm not saying that you want to be alone forever. It's this about this experience. It becomes a very deeply personal experience to you. And I felt that at the same time, because lust is, you know, about fortitude. You know, it's the wisdom and learning through fortitude. You know, you've become a stronger person. You've wised up to certain aspects of life. I feel like this is going to become a very private experience for you. This is deeply personal in a way where I don't feel that it's really about sharing with anybody else. You know, what I love about these two cards is the composure and the dignity. You know, you're going through such a tough time that I think that it all just spills out every so often. And maybe you don't care who sees that. You don't care how other people perceive you. And then you kind of find your balance down here with Lust and Queen of Swords in a way where you become composed, rebalanced. I feel like you've found the strength in yourself. You know, like you've found the strength to begin a new life, because, you know, the swords are about cutting away. Queen of Swords is definitely about cutting away from the past, although she'll never forget. I don't think you'll ever forget this experience, but I think that you will move on in a way where you assimilate it into your heart. This is about grief, and it's about loneliness, and it's about loss. And I don't feel like things will ever be quite the same again. And at the same time, I feel like you'll come to terms with it all, and I feel that you'll stand on your own 2 feet with an enormous amount of strength. So this is going to define you in so many ways. This will be a pillar of your existence, and as much as it's difficult, there's actually so much beauty in this. And I think it actually is a reflection of your character, because here with the Queen of Swords and Lust, this underpins the reading in a way that arrives you back to a predisposition of being, really, because this is who it is that you are, as much as these other cards are, you know. So for me, this is about a process that is about an ending linked to a new beginning, and nothing will be the same ever again after, but it's about a new start without this thing or this person. Listen, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It would be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, that'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.